It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today. We're sitting down with Merilee Fowler. Hello.
Hello there.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
At least a yearly visit, right?
That's right.
Yeah. MATForce Executive Director. Yeah.
Right.
MATForce.org is the website. MATForce.org. If you've got a question about drug issues, I would suggest that website to go to. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you?
I would. And you know what's crazy is we now have 12 websites. So it's MATForce.org and a lot of other websites.
Oh my gosh.
That you can find out at the MATForce.org website.
Yeah, and you know, I was telling Merilee just before the show that I remember going to at the original MATForce meetings when they first started down here in Cottonwood. We were doing that when Sheila Polk was there, and then Doug Bartosh was there, and Grant, the owner, was there, and everything. And I've watched how MATForce has changed over the years, and you guys sent out a newsletter recently. And so I pulled that up, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, oh my gosh, look at how much bigger they are now. They're just huge now. So we're going to try to get into some of that today. First thing I got to ask you, though, is the word fentanyl popped up. I don't know how many years ago, but it popped up in the news, and that, talk about snowballs. That thing is just out of control. We've had overdose deaths. It's showing up all over the place. Those little M30 pills.
Yes, and you know, I think the thing that's so important for people to realize is this is not fentanyl that you get from a doctor. This is illicit counterfeit fentanyl that is being manufactured by drug dealers, you know, and is coming into our country in huge quantities. And when you mention overdose deaths, you know, what we've seen in Yavapai County, which is, you know, across the whole nation the same, is that a majority of our overdose deaths are from these illicit counterfeit fentanyl pills. And, you know, it's just continued to increase. In fact, you know, we have the Overdose Fatality Review Board, and in 2021, you know, the data that we have so far, it's 62% of the overdose deaths are related to fentanyl. So it's a #1 concern now for drug use and what's happening, you know, in our county and country.
You know, we just barely got methamphetamine kind of under control in Yavapai County.
Right.
But that was a big issue.
Right.
And then the automatic 5 to 15 years if you were caught transporting or dealing meth in Yavapai County. And I think it's statewide now. But that's reared its head back up again. But then this fentanyl came along.
Right.
And now then you start hearing celebrities and stuff that were using fentanyl, and that was the result or part of the result of their deaths, whatever it may be. It's just sad.
It's horrible. You know, I want to say one other thing, too, that's so important. In 2020, we had 5 teenagers that died from fentanyl. We had 2 14-year-olds, if you can believe that. But it's such a deadly drug that, again, one pill can kill. And so these kids, you know, they're experimenting, and they put that one pill in their mouth. We've had cases where they thought it was a Xanax. They thought it was, you know, a Percocet, you know, a different type of drug. Because, again, they look like prescription medications, but they're these counterfeit pills. And so we've never, in my 15-year career with MATForce, I've never seen where young people are dying and overdosing like they are with fentanyl. And so, you know, I just thank you for the time to talk about it, because it's so important that parents educate their kids on this danger, and that no child sticks any pill in their mouth that's not prescribed to them by a doctor, or, you know, that they know is safe, you know, over-the-counter medication.
Agreed. I mean, those little pills, it's a little blue pill.
Yes.
I'm surprised they haven't changed the look of the pill after all these years.
Well, they have. I mean, that's the main one. The M30 is the main thing that we're seeing, but we've seen it as disguised as aspirin, as Xanax, again, multiple different pills. And so, you know, don't put any pill in your mouth that you do not know the source right now, because it's extremely dangerous.
I mean, these aren't pharmacists putting these together for you. This is just somebody in a laboratory somewhere mixing it together. And we'll see this in Yavapai County. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we've seen it with heroin too, where we get this batch that comes in, and all of a sudden, people start dying.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I guess we call that a bad batch, but same things goes for fentanyl. They put it in this pill fixture, they stir it around, these guys up here got this much of it, these guys down here got this much, and we see the same thing. It kind of comes in, all of a sudden you start seeing deaths happening.
Absolutely. The DEA did a really interesting study with a group of the pills that they had confiscated, and they found that 42% of these illicit counterfeit fentanyl pills had a deadly dose. So again, when you're opioid naive and you're a younger person or you're somebody who hasn't built up a tolerance, again, that one pill can kill you. So it's something I've never experienced, in all my years with, prevention and trying to figure out what to do to prevent drug abuse, but it's a very serious problem right now.
It seems like every year we got something new that pops up. And
exactly.
One of the law enforcement agencies will tell me about it. I'm like, really? We got that now too?
Yes.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen a lot in the 30 years. Now, okay, so that's the fentanyl. It's an issue in Yavapai County. I know we've had a lot of busts with that. I've seen them over the last few months. I think DPS had a big one down by the border recently. Meth, heroin, and cocaine, are they still rearing their heads in Yavapai County pretty well?
Yeah, you mentioned, Paul, it was when MATForce first started, it was around the methamphetamine problem, and there were some really great strategies that were implemented, and we saw a decrease. It never went away, but we saw a significant decrease. But again, we're seeing a significant increase again the last few years, and we're calling it the new meth because it's more potent. There's more available. It's being manufactured in super labs in Mexico and coming across the border. So back, when MATForce started, and we knew that people were making it with pseudoephedrine in their homes. It was smaller quantities, but now, what we're seeing, even with the Overdose Fatality Review Board, is that people are using very large quantities because it's more available. The purity is up to 95%, and so the deaths associated with meth, that's something we didn't see either back in 2005, 2006. And when I talk about overdose deaths for 2021, there's 40% of our deaths had meth in their system. So it's reared its ugly head, and we're really concerned about what we're calling the new meth.
So the 5 to 15 isn't scaring anybody anymore.
Right.
About prison time.
Well, I think that it's still a detriment, but the problem, we've had some societal changes, and when somebody is struggling with a use disorder, it's what drug is available to. And we're seeing even with the fentanyl, there's a lot of fentanyl methamphetamine combinations, and so I think that again, what drugs are available really factors into what people are using.
Unfortunately, it's affordable too.
Right,
yeah.
And that huge issue.
Right.
I'm sure you talk to PANT officers, but the price has dropped significantly, and again, that makes more use when the price goes down.
It's cheap. So, we got a couple minutes before we have to take our first break. The last drug I want to ask you about, I went recreational in the state, marijuana.
Right.
What does MATForce say about that?
Well, we did fight against legalized marijuana just because we are, about primary prevention, and we're concerned about kids. We know that when kids don't use a drug, at a young age, they're less likely to, become addicted to that drug. And so we work really hard to convince kids with adolescent brain not to use drugs. So, with legalized marijuana, it's more socially acceptable. Again, there's higher availability because their parents are using it legally now. And so that's a concern of ours. It'll be interesting to see as, we've legalized for a few years what the statistics look like, but I know from reports from the schools that vaping is the #1 concern, and they're not just vaping nicotine, but they're also vaping marijuana. And so it'll be interesting. The Arizona Youth Survey will be conducted in 2022 to see what the numbers are with youth use of marijuana.
Oh, then you have to pass that along to me.
Yes, absolutely.
We should probably have you come in and talk about that as well.
Yes,
then.
Real interesting to see what the kids tell us about use.
I was wondering if that question was going to be too early for you right now, and for MATForce about the recreational marijuana. So we need to. But this year, there should be some report out on that. Okay, awesome. Okay. All right, we got to take our first break already.
Okay.
Merilee Fowler, MATForce Executive Director. MATForce.org is the website. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Terrifying jobs. Bull Rider, take 2.
Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked up.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Two things we can count on every year.
A new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at candbhomes.com.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Welcome back to Countywide. Executive Director for MATForce, Merilee Fowler, is in studio with us today. MATForce.org is the website for you to take a look at. Lots of information on there for you if you've got questions about drugs. Not just drugs, though, either.
Well, we also deal with alcohol, which is a drug. I mean, I guess you shouldn't say it's true. It's a drug, but we're, any substance that people can abuse is what we want to try to prevent.
Yeah, any substance you can abuse. Yeah. Let's talk about something that you guys implemented. How many years ago was it now? The reentry project.
Believe it or not, we started in 2012.
Wow.
So it's just crazy to think for 10 years we've been implementing.
Yeah, I would have never
project.
Guessed. 10 years had gone by.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar, the reentry project is people coming out of jail, or is it out of prison?
We started with people coming out of prison.
Okay.
So for the first about 5 years, we were just dealing with people that were coming out of prison, and our idea was that we wanted them to help them to be successful, with their reentry and to help them to meet the goals that they had set for themselves. And so we match them with a community coach who is a volunteer, and that person actually helps them to meet those goals. But we also, about 5 years ago, the sheriff kept asking, would you work with people that are coming out of the county jail, that are appropriate for the program? So we started doing that also. So now we're working with both people that are coming out of prison and out of our county jail that are appropriate for
and
the
how
project.
Successful, hold on. Hold on. The program's got to be successful because according to your release that you sent out, you guys are working with 6 different counties, Mojave, Apache, Navajo, Pima, Pinal, and Graham counties in implementing this program into their counties as well. So do the folks that are volunteering, do they prefer working with the folks coming out of the jail because typically they're going to be local folks, or does it not matter?
Well, the people coming out of the prison are also local folks, so they have to be people that lived here, that went to prison and came back. That is one of the rules that we have for our project because we're helping for people in Yavapai County that are returning home.
Gotcha.
And so we were just really excited that the state saw the value of this project that we had developed and from scratch, and so they gave us funding actually to put together a toolkit, and then we trained these other counties, and then we also got a little bit of funding to support them and help to pay for a coordinator for them to implement the project. So it's really wonderful that it's now going in 7 counties in Arizona.
Can you give us kind of just a brief idea as to how the program kind of works?
Yes, absolutely. So again, we know that we want to help people that want to help themselves, and so with the reentry project, when somebody is in prison, we contact them while they're incarcerated, and also with the jail, they know about our project while they're in jail. And so if they're really wanting to change, their life when they get out and get on a good path, if they have goals like finding a job, finding a place to live, maybe reuniting with their family, different things, so we're going to, what we're going to do is come alongside them and help them to meet those goals that they have set for themselves. And so that community coach, the first thing we do is we sit down together, the coach and the participant, and we talk about those goals and what are the steps that they need to take to meet those goals. And it's not that we're going to do it for them, we're going to help them to meet those goals. And so, we have a list of employers that will hire people with a felony arrest record. We know locations where they can live. If they need to get into treatment, we'll support them with that. There's a variety of things that we help them with.
Wow.
Transportation, just so many different things. And one of the things that we've been really thankful for is we recently got additional money to help support them, like if they needed first month's rent, and that's through Blue Cross Blue Shield. And so, if they need help with bus passes, we buy bus passes so that they have transportation. So a little bit of financial support. That's not the whole gist of the project. It's more just, coming alongside them, believing in them, helping them to achieve the goals. And the success of the project has been just absolutely amazing. So
does it work like, is it AA that does that, where it's like, I'm thinking about having a drink, I need to call my sponsor, Merilee, and tell her that I'm thinking, okay, so what if I, Joe Blow, my friend that I used to do burglaries with, he just contacted me and says, hey, he needs my help, and I really don't want to get back involved in that, but I'm having a little bit of trouble. Can I call you and say, hey, Merilee, this is just what happened, what do I do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And when you say that, Paul, one of the things that's been really interesting, even people who have relapsed, we want to help them to stay clean and sober, but we've had people that have relapsed, with different drugs, and they'll call us and say, hey, I need help. So isn't that wonderful that they're willing to reach out, to their coach or to us?
Oh, sure.
Because then, we've even gotten in touch with parole, and we don't want them to get in trouble because they've relapsed. We want them to get the help that they need. And I think that that's been a wonderful example of the success of the project. So, even if it's just they, maybe got into a fight with somebody, or they're struggling emotionally, getting depressed, yes, they can call that mentor, that volunteer, or one of the staff of the Reentry Project, and we're willing to just help them through that. We're not counselors, but we're just a support system to be there for them and to, give them the leg up that they need.
Get back on your feet, be a productive member of society, and stay on the straight and narrow, and do the right thing.
Absolutely.
Do you have enough volunteers for the Reentry Project?
We can always use more volunteers.
You guys always say that.
Yes, and we do coach trainings. Mm-hmm. We say to people, they're like, what do I need to be able to do? You need to have the heart that you want to help somebody. That's really what they need to have. And so we do a background check, but we have people that have been in prison that are our coaches. They make great coaches. You don't have to have that legal history to be a great coach. People from all different backgrounds that just want to help and are willing to, make the commitment and give the time to that person that's coming back home to Yavapai County.
All right, so if you're interested in that, again, they can go to MATForce.org, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you can find information about that.
Yes.
So that's the Reentry Project.
Yes.
That was one. And then the next thing on your list here was New Year, New Focus. So what is the new focus coming up this new year?
The new year, well, we have a lot of new focuses, and one of the things that's been really interesting with MATForce is that we have actually gotten funding to do some projects statewide. So when we were talking about fentanyl, I formed a group called the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona, and with that group we're working with all of the coalitions in the state on a statewide fentanyl campaign. We talked about the importance of educating people on that. We're also doing a statewide campaign on methamphetamine, and with that we've been able to when we can do it together as a state, we're going to be more successfully. So that's been a new focus for MATForce, that we're looking at how can we do messages statewide and not just in Yavapai County. So that's been taking a lot of our effort this new year, but we're still doing all the things that we continue to do in Yavapai County.
That's got to be a challenge, though, to get the state on board. It's one thing to have Yavapai County get on board, but to get everybody in the state on board, that could be challenging.
Yeah, but we've used a really great collective process where we come to a consensus, because when we're talking about coalitions from around the state, we're all in different communities. So we have border coalitions and coalitions in other rural communities and in metropolitan areas, and serving different populations and ethnicities and all of that sort of thing. But what we've really come to a consensus on what are the messages that are going to resonate both with youth and with adults, and it's been a wonderful process that we've developed, and proud of what we've come up with for education across the state.
Awesome.
So,
awesome. Yeah. Okay, let's take our second break.
Okay.
MATForce Executive Director Merilee Fowler with me in studio today. MATForce.org is that website. Stick around. County Wide back in just a couple minutes.
Terrifying Jobs, Bull Rider, take 2.
Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked off.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Two things we can count on every year:
a new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
The EPA says C&B Construction ranks in the top 1% nationally. C&B Construction invites you to see what energy efficiency and indoor air quality can be. We have won another Department of Energy Innovation Award, and C&B Construction is the only contractor in the country to win 6 consecutive EPA Indoor Air Plus awards. Experience our zero-energy, move-in ready homes at Crossroads at Mingus.
C&B Construction, locally respected, nationally recognized. Find out more at candbhomes.com.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family-friendly, open 11:30 to 9, late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left in the program. Merilee Fowler from MATForce is here today. MATForce.org is the website. We want to direct people to that website. I mean, I didn't go into it and look at it, but I've been in MATForce's website. But there's a lot of information in there that people can find out all kinds of different, if they've got questions.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's resources for parents. There's, all the different events that we're doing you can look up if you want to, participate in a webinar or learn more about a certain subject. So absolutely, it's a good website for people to visit.
Speaking of which, I didn't even bring this up at the beginning. You sent this to me, or MATForce sent it to me this morning about some classes coming up. So let me hit these really quick. These are for parents. Is that right? Okay, for parents that have questions about drugs and their kids and things of that nature, how to handle that. There's one on Saturday, January 29th from 9 to noon. They're going to be virtual. To register for the class, visit MATForce website, matforce.org/events to register for that. Then there's 2 classes coming up that last for 6 weeks, also virtual. Tuesday, January 25th, Thursday, January 27th. Each class is 6 weeks from 6 to 8 p.m., again, virtually. And then again, to register, contact Sandy Cheney.
Sandy Cheney is our parenting class facilitator, yes.
Okay, and that number is 420-0427, 420-0427. And all that stuff is on MATForce's website. The other thing we got to hit, and we've got about a minute and a half, is the youth poster contest. Yes. That has come up as well. So, that's been pretty successful over the last, decade or more?
More than that. It probably was when you were coming to the meetings. It was an idea that somebody came up with. It would be
it like on pizza boxes, I think.
we did that for a while,
Yeah, it was on pizza boxes, I think, at the beginning.
The pizza delivery places put the winning posters on it. But, it's been a really fun contest for us. So it's for kids from kindergarten through 12th grade. We have different age categories, and there's 2 grand prize winners that get $250. And what's fun is we use that poster in a lot of our promotional materials throughout the year. We've had some wonderful posters that have been, with an anti-drug message that the kids come up with. And so it's just really a fun thing for kids to take part in. And again, they can learn about, I think our deadline is March 25th. So they have, the next couple months that they can put together a poster and submit it. And we have fun with judges that, pick the winning posters. And so we hope a lot of kids will participate.
And then you guys have always sent me those posters as well.
Yes.
The winners. You've sent me the pictures, and so we can post those on the website, which is always fun to do too. So, if you've got a creative bone in your body and you're kindergarten to 12th grade?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
So how many do you pick a year?
So we picked 2 grand prize winners, but we have the age categories are 2 years. So it's kindergarten, first grade, second, third, and so on. There's a winner in each of those categories. So there's, ends up with lots of winners. And the other thing that's fun with the poster contest is we do a road show. So we have honorable mentions also. And so we put those on blackboards and we take them all over the county, put them up at the public library, just ask, different locations if we can put the posters up so people can see the great artwork that our kids have done and the messages, anti-drug messages.
That's really awesome. That's really, we could probably talk for hours more, couldn't we?
Yes,
absolutely. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's kind of sad. But it's nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you.
It was really great having you in here today. So that's going to wrap up the show. But again, MATForce.org. If you go there, MATForce.org, tons of information there. So MATForce Executive Director Merilee Fowler, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
We'll look for that update on 2022 with the kids count and see what see what the kids are dabbling in. Hopefully, it'd be nice if they said, "Oh, nothing."
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, we're done with that. We're done with that.
Work us out of a job. That sounds wonderful.
That would be great. Yeah. Okay. That's today's Countywide. As always, we thank you for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.